Good morning, Battle Baits Captain and faithful followers of Battle Baits Nation. I'm Scott Crosby, and I've been asked by Flip Pierce to tie up the new line of Finesse hair jigs for Battle Baits, and I thought maybe this morning we could get together and I'll show you how they're tied up and what they're made of. I thought maybe before we did that we'd talk about them a little bit. There's currently 3 colors online. We're working on a couple new colors. Peanut butter jelly is coming, and then this new version of black and blue. We changed up the black and blue considerably. We felt that the blue we were using a Kingfisher blue, and now we're going to be using a royal blue instead. So these hair jigs are in the finesse category, if you will, but I just want to say this, that they're very effective jig with soft plastics on them, and you can catch fish all day on them with soft plastics. But it's my personal opinion that the best thing to run behind these hair jigs is my old faithful Uncle Josh's 101 cork. Time and time again, this has proved to be the winner. And this jig just really doesn't have to be a finesse situation for you to throw it. I used to flip this on docks in Michigan and murder them all the time, and big fish. So, to each his own. What I really want to do is talk about what they're made out of and how we're tying them up. So let's get started. Alright, so materials that they're made out of are premium deer hair, good stuff. We also have what we call a composite brush. Now, these brushes are pre-made up. This is something I do ahead of time, and there are 3 materials. There's 3 materials in this fly, or in this, composite brush. That's wrapped into some stainless steel wire. And 3 materials are royal blue Congo hair, pearl web hot white flash, and my favorite, ripple ice fiber minnow mix. This stuff is awesome. So once you get the brush made up, it will be the first thing that we tie in. So let's get started on tying one up. We're tying them with Kevlar thread, and just gonna get a little base set in there. I'm gonna take a little bit of this exposed stainless wire and tie it in, fold it back on itself so that it can't come undone. And then we're going to do a technique that they do in fly tying called palmering. And basically we're going to take this brush and get about 3 or 4 wraps in there. We'll have to see what looks good here in just a moment. Take that, just wrapping it back, trying not to trap any of the materials, because we want this to have a really nice action in the water, and if you trap materials, it won't have that as good action. So there's 2 turns. I think I'm going to go with a 3rd turn, making sure everything's out of the way. Secure that. 1, 2, 3. Cut the excess out of there, making sure to leave a little bit to wrap in. Now, it's inevitable that you're probably going to trap some materials when you're palmering, so we take our little toothbrush here and comb it all out. Nice, get it to flare. We want it to flare so that it can hold up the deer hair a little better too. There we go. I can see it coming out now. Alright, let's fold that back and give her a few more wraps. Lay the base thread down for our next step, which is going to be some black deer hair. I've been pretty successful at not having to use the hair stacker. You're probably wondering what that is if you're not a fly tyer, but it helps me stack my hair so I can tie it in nice. But I've been doing it by hand pretty good, and when you're tying literally hundreds of these, it helps to not take so long to have to do it. So we're just going to lay that down on the bottom of the jig. Loose wrap up here, loose wrap. Oh, come on. There we go. One, two, cinch her down. Okay, good. Now right here, we're going to just make sure it's in place where we want it to before we cinch it down. You can really pull on that Kevlar thread without it breaking it. That's a great thing about it, and it's like a tank. Alright, here we go. We're just going to trim off all of this excess here. And after we do that, we're going to put a few more wraps of thread into there just for insurance purposes. The hair is the most brittlest part of the jig. We're going to try and design these jigs to catch as many fish as possible before they do break down. Do want to say that the way we build them is gonna, I'm hoping for 20-30 fish before you gotta buy a new one, maybe more. Alright, bottom's in. I'm just gonna flip it up and go to the top and do the same thing. Another little chunk of black deer hair. There's some insulation in the deer hair sometimes that you can see, and it's good to comb it out. That way it doesn't bulk up on the fly. We don't want additional bulk when we're tying these because it doesn't turn out right. Alright, so I'm just going to hand stack it. Pinch her down, lay it on top, one loose wrap, two loose wraps, and cinch it. Alright, there it is. There's the top here. Alright, now, once again, we're just going to trim out all those little shorties before we do our securing wraps. And right now I'm going to put a ½ inch in it and really cinch her down. Okay, now the next material we're going to use is black and blue grizzly flashaboo. Really like this material. In the water, this stuff is amazing. And we're going to cut off a little hank of it. I don't know, maybe, I'm guessing there's a dozen pieces there or so. Okay, there's your hank of it. First thing I'm going to do is just cut it in half because I'm going to use 1/2 on one side and 1/2 on the other. Okay, so here is half and half. Lay it in, secure it, good position, flare it, and hold it back, and secure to the back. Give a little pressure, and a half inch. Okay, now, same thing, other side, flip it over. Pick up your other half of the hank, get about halfway point, make sure everything is lined up. They kind of moved on me. There we go, that's better. Wrap it in. Position it. Couple securing wraps, back over, secure again, and now it's time for the final half inch. Half inch it. Half inch, half inch. Okay, almost done. So, what we're going to do now, cut off that Kevlar thread. Good to go. I didn't have any black thread, so I have to color my brown thread with my Copic waterproof marker. And then, to really make sure this doesn't come apart, my favorite, Zap-A-Gap super glue. Gonna give it a pretty good soaking amount on the top and let it roll into the bottom. Get a toothpick and get it down into those threads, and that baby is ready to fish as soon as it dries. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we're looking forward to doing business with you online at battlebaits.com. Tight lines.